So if we have a line that goes just halfway through the circle, it's called the radius. And if we have a line that goes all the way across the circle, it's called the diameter. Okay? Remember, they're interchangeable. So if I have a radius, I can double it to get the diameter, or if I have a diameter, I can half it to get the radius. Okay? So that's going to be important to know for this unit. All right, so here we have our area formula. So our area formula is pi times radius squared. Now remember, this right here is an exponent, and it means radius times itself, not times 2. Radius times itself, not times 2. That is a big mistake people make, is they just double the radius, but it's not doubling it, it's times itself, okay? So if I were going to write this out in a longer way, it would look like this. Area equals 3.14 times the radius, okay? So you can think of it that way too, just so you don't forget that that does not mean times 2, okay? Now if you want to try these two on your own, go ahead and pause and then hit play to check your work. But if you want to just follow along, you can, okay? All right, so let's check this. So you need to make sure you have the radius. In this case, we do, right? Remember, radius is halfway across. So that means I'm going to do 10 times 10, which is 100. 100 times pi for my area, okay? So radius squared, radius times itself. 10 times 10 is 100 times 3.14. And that's going to be 314 centimeters squared. Remember, area units are always squared, okay? So that's our first one. Our second one, we're given the diameter. So if the diameter is 6, that means this radius, only halfway, is going to be 3, okay? So I do 3 times 3, which is 9, times 5. Okay, so radius squared, 3 times itself, and then 9 times pi. I get 28.26 centimeters squared for this one, okay? So just a couple things, make sure you're using the radius, and please don't just multiply it by 2, because if you think about it, if you just multiply it by 2, you're actually just going back to diameter. And then you're doing diameter times pi, which is really just circumference. You're not finding area at all, okay? So there's a big difference between squaring something and multiplying something by 2. We want to square. All right, so I want you to go ahead and practice. Pause this, find the area of all of Frosty. Okay, so find the area of each circle, add it up, and then hit play to check your work. All right, so the first one, the head, is going to be 2 squared, which is 4 times pi. The next one is going to be 3 squared, which is 9 times pi. And the final one is 5 squared, which is 25 times pi. Okay? What you actually could do, which I'm sure you did not, is that you could add all these up, 9 plus 4 plus 25, and just multiply it by pi once. That's allowed. But I'll go ahead and do each one out separately so you can check to see if you got each individual one correct. Okay? So this one's 12.56. This one's 28.26. And this one's 78.5. Okay? So then you want to add them all together. And like I said, you could just add 4 plus 9 plus 25, which is 38, and just multiply that by pi all at once. And that would also work to total it up. You end up getting a total area of 119.32 square centimeters for good old Frosty there. Okay? So there's our areas. And notice they gave us the radius for all of them, so we were able to use that number. Okay? Remember, if they give you the diameter, all you have to do is half it, because half the diameter is the radius. All right, so let's fill in all our formulas now, because we know all of them at this point. Okay, so if you go ahead and pause it and try to fill these in on your own and hit play to check it, because at this point you should know all your formulas. All right, so the parallelogram, our area formula is base times height. For triangles, it's base times height divided by 2. And now our new one, circles, is pi times radius squared. Okay. For perimeter, if you're doing a parallelogram, you just add up the 4 sides. For a triangle, you add up the 3 sides. And make sure they're only the outsides, not the middle height or anything like that going through the middle. And a circle, its circumference is the perimeter, and it's pi times the diameter. Okay, so diameter for circumference, radius for the area. Okay, make sure you have all these jotted down. There we go. All All right, so let's try a bit of a challenge. I want you to go ahead and pause this, try to answer all these questions, and then hit play to check your work. All right, so first it says find the area of the green area, okay? So that's just the green circle with a radius of 5. So that means I'm going to do 5 squared pi. So 25 times pi, which we've done a couple times already. We get 78.5 meters squared. Then it says find the area of the green and yellow area together, so all of it. So that's just a circle with a radius of 12. So I'm doing 12 squared times pi. Okay, so 144 times pi. And I get 452.16 meters squared. Then, just like before, it says now just find the area of the yellow area. So this is basically the area of this donut going around here, right? So just like we did the other day with the rectangles, I want to take the area of all of it, the yellow and the green. And then if I take away the green, I will be left with just the yellow, okay? So that's all you want to do is have the whole thing and then remove the hole in the middle that they don't want there. And that'll leave you with just the donut area there. And that's our answer, okay? All right, let's try another challenge. All right, go ahead and pause it, give this a try, and then hit play to see how you did. All right, it says find the area of the green area. So we have these 2 half circles here, right there and there. Okay, 2 half circles. And they tell us from here to here is 4 centimeters. Well, if you finished out the circle, that would be the radius, right? Well, also, if you rotate this part into there, that would be one whole circle with a radius of 4. So really, I'm just finding an area of a circle with a radius of 4, and that's it. It's just the circle happens to be split up, okay? But it's still a circle with a radius of 4. Okay, so 16 times pi is 50.24 centimeters squared. So that's the green one. All right, the yellow one. So we're finding green and yellow together, so the entire thing. So this whole thing is half a circle, okay? Now there isn't a formula for half a circle. What you do is you find the whole circle and you just take half of it. Pretty logical. So we got to think about this circle. So if this was a complete circle, it would look something like that, okay? And the radius would be about that, because this would be the middle of that circle, right? Well, we know this green one from here to here is 4. That's the radius. Well, that means from here to here is also 4. From here to here is also 4. So that means all together, the radius of this yellow-green combo thing would be 8, right? Because 2 4s, 8, okay? So I'm going to do 8 squared pi, 64 times pi. And I end up getting 200.96. But like I said, that would be if we had this whole circle, and we don't. We only have half of it. So what I want to do is divide it by 2 to just get half of it. That leaves me with 100.48 centimeters squared. Okay, so I found the area of the entire shape, and I found the area of the green part. Now it wants the yellow part, just like every other problem we've done. If we have the area of the entire shape, and we take away the green part, we're left with the yellow part, okay? And funny enough, it ends up being the exact same. The green and the yellow are half and half. Okay, so that's our answer for that one. All right, let's try one more challenge problem just to see if you start getting the hang using these formulas and thinking about these shapes. All right, so this one's a little more challenging. I want you to go ahead and pause it, think about what shapes you have, try to find these areas. Okay, so let's find the area of the yellow area. So look at the yellow, it's just a triangle, right? And it's a triangle that's part of a circle. So if that's 9, this is also 9, because they would be radiuses, right? If we were to complete out this circle, that would be the middle of it, so this would be a radius. So if that's 9, so is that, okay? So it's 9 by 9, this triangle. Remember, triangles you divide by 2, okay? So that ends up being 40.5 feet squared, 0.5. And so there's the yellow area. Then it wants us to find the yellow and green together, so basically the whole thing. Okay, so we're going to do it very similar to we did last time. Okay, we want to do the area as if it was a complete circle. So this circle would have a radius of 9, like we said, so 9 squared pi. And go ahead and find that. So that is 254.34. And now this time I don't have half a circle, I actually have a fourth of a circle. So instead of dividing by 2, I'm going to divide by 4. It's a fourth of the circle. So divide by 4. And I'm left with 63.585 feet squared. So that's what this whole area is, okay? And again, just like every other problem we've done, if we're looking for the green area now, I take the area of all of it, the green and the yellow, I remove my yellow area, and I will be left with my green area. 23.085 feet squared. So that wraps up finding our area for our different shapes.